Within the last 2 months, I have turned down 3 deals worth millions of dollars, and it has been the hardest decisions I've made so far in my career. For context, most people don't actually know, but the way we survive and actually make our money in elite football is working directly with professional clubs and, let's say, helping them do the things that their teams can't, right? We're essentially the middleman in a lot of different operations that tend to make clubs a lot of money. And I never really talk about this because obviously the passion project in elite football is helping amateur players transition to the pro scene, and that's really how we first got started. But basically there got a point in my career where I realized clubs don't care about me. How can I make them care about us and the players that we provide them? Ultimately, it was never going to be through sending them amateur players because they don't really make much money off it and they don't really care, right? And so it took me a really long time to figure out how to make clubs a lot of money and what value I could provide. And obviously that foundation has been built over the last 8 years. And I don't really talk about that because I don't really want that to be the focus of elite football. I want it to be the amateur players. I want it to be the representation side of the agency. And I want that to take its own flight, which it very much has nowadays. But I guess people are always sort of curious of how we make our money, how we operate. And if I'm being honest, I don't talk about it, not because I don't want to. I really badly want to talk about the business decisions and the stuff that comes up because for me, it's some of the most exciting stuff. And I will one day, for sure. Once I feel like I'm big enough, whatever that means, in the industry and sort of solidified our reputation and our name, which we already are doing within Australia, I will definitely talk about it and potentially even teach other agents or other people just business advice because I think that's what I really love. If I'm being honest, I don't do it now because I just don't want to make our competitors aware of the stuff we do because it's really the golden source, right? That being said, in the last 2 months, it was not clickbait. I have turned down millions of dollars, $6 million to be exact, different deals from different clubs. And it was really hard. It's really weird getting to the point in your career where stuff like this starts to happen, that obviously takes your attention. Yeah, I've been very much beating myself up over this for a while because I guess ultimately what I want to teach, the bit of value that I want you to take away from this video as a football player is sometimes amazing things come into your life, things that you never thought were going to come, or things that really tempt you to change your focus. In business, a lot of people see that as, or convince themselves that, oh, well, I can start doing this project because it's just an umbrella of what I'm currently doing. As a football player, it could be that, you know, you're fully focused on trying to go pro or on your training, on whatever, and I don't know, you find a girlfriend and you convince yourself that, oh, if I have this girlfriend, then I'm, going to be able to focus more on football because I won't be thinking about chatting up all these other girls. Obviously, like, the examples are completely different, but it's all really the same because as humans, we do this. We have something, we build something, we have a goal, but as we're building towards that goal, other things get in the way, and we convince ourselves that this thing will go hand in hand with our goal or that we can do it. And it's just not reality. I've seen so many people fail because of this problem. Because as people with big goals, big dreams, and not everyone's like this. Ideally, if you're following me, most of you should be, right? Because you probably have big goals and big ambitions. And so you'll probably walk through your life wanting to do big shit, and that's awesome. But what happens is you're going to be walking through your life and you're going to see so much different opportunity come your way. It really is a game of who can just stick to the one thing for the longest amount of time. You don't have to be talented. You don't have to, be a Nepo baby. You don't have to have people that help you. It's really just about how much of the same shit can you do every single day. It's really the boring stuff that gets you across the line. It's hard for me to relate a lot of football stuff specifically for players because obviously I just don't play football anymore. And even though it hasn't been that long, it's been long enough where my head isn't exactly in the mind of a football player. Am I a lot closer to relating to players? Do I find it a lot easier than basically anyone else in my industry that's in their 50s? 100%. Have I built my success partly on that? 100%. But I've been playing a much different game for the last sort of 8 years. And I think a lot of stuff in this world, like business, like just life stuff in general, really correlates to even football and anything else. And I want you to, I just feel like it's easy to sort of picture essentially receiving offers from clubs. Because obviously, if I'm being honest right now, I used to eat a lot of shit. I've eaten so much shit, more than anyone could ever think of. Anyone that just happens to stop by and see what elite football is today, you wouldn't imagine how many no's, how much I got stepped on, how many times I got just fucked over, right? In the first, I would say, I'd go as far as saying probably 4 years when Dad and I sort of picked this up. And it was brutal, right? Because we had no brand. I had nothing to offer anyone, clubs, nothing. And we were just really starting from the dirt, right? And we started on the other side of the world. As the years have gone by, and now the script has changed. Like, if I'm being honest, like if I told people the names of these clubs that I've turned down, basically told them to go fuck themselves, it is a beautiful feeling. Like, I'm so grateful to be in a position today where I can tell clubs no. I'm grateful to be in the position that we have the power, I guess now. The minute something happens that we're not happy with, we just put them on a freezer. Like, I've put clubs on freezers where we just stop working with them. Like, that's such a nice feeling to be able to do that. And I've done that. And it's crazy to think that there was a time when I was so nice and so forgiving to our partners and just business in general. And then as the years go by, you sort of develop this sort of hard exterior, and you just realize how much other people need you, and it just flips the script. It changes the game. And as much as there is very big clubs that if you were to have shown me 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I wouldn't believe I'm even emailing them or talking to these people. And I've said no to them with really good offers. There's something really crazy about that. And I'm excited, hopefully in the near future, to be able to explain all these little stories that I have. We're in a position now where we are the biggest agency in Australia. I can comfortably and confidently say that. And there's no one else that has the structure that we're doing. Because while I'm saying these figures, I also don't want anyone that knows me to be like, oh, Alan's living like this crazy lavish lifestyle. It's not like that. Every penny that we make really just goes back into the business, and I don't really see anything in terms of what we do, right? So it's not quite like that. Not yet, anyways. And I think that's what differentiates us as well, is that we are so focused on the one goal, and everything is putting towards being the biggest, being the best, helping the players as much as possible, and moving forward. I just want you guys to picture for a second what it's been like to receive these offers. There's millions of dollars on the table, but I know that in order for me to accept that, I would have to focus on a completely different sector, stuff that I don't do, in order to make that happen. And the amount of energy and time it would have taken from me and other people on my team to make this happen, to make these deals happen, it would essentially solely be based on the money side of things. And I don't think it's everything. And as much as it was so tempting to want to do this stuff, ultimately you have to stay focused on the goal. You have to stay focused on the reason, the thing that you're doing. You have to stay focused on whatever you start, whatever you say you're going to do, you need to just focus on that, because otherwise what's the point? Otherwise you become like everyone else that says they're going to do something and they get distracted halfway along the way. 25% along the way because it's so easy to. And, you know, like when I first started business, there was a point in time where I had 3 businesses, right? I had a finance business, had Elite Football, and this other marketing thing that I was doing. And I was doing all 3 flat out, 60 hours a week, and I was making money, but it was like, it wasn't money. Like it was just, I was, you know, still broke practically. And that was a waste of time, you know, and it wasn't until I just focused on the one thing, which I ended up choosing Elite Football, that things started to really flesh out and work for me. And I just think this correlates everywhere. I always tell players, like, stop stressing about study. Don't stress about your life. Don't stress about trying to get a job because, you know, you want to pay for these boots, or you want to pay for, you know, take your girlfriend out for dates or whatever. Like, just do the one thing. Just focus on training. Just focus on being the best footballer you can be. Focus on the connections. Like, do nothing but football for 50 hours a week, and you do that for 5 years, and maybe you'll get pretty close, and do it for another 5 years, and maybe you actually will make it. Like, I don't think people understand the level of time that it requires to achieve really big things. And it really all just comes down to staying focused on the one thing and saying no to everything else. And I didn't think that it would be like this as business gets better and higher, and, you know, I'm, you know, tempted and confronted with numbers that I've never seen before, right? But it is. And I think now I'm got this fire in me where I now have to prove that I made the right choice, double down on what we've been doing because I see the longer vision, and also to paint the picture. Like, you won't know if you're right. I'm not going to know if I'm right for another 2 years maybe, and that's okay. Like, you trying to become a football player, it's such a high risk, and you don't know if it's going to work out. And all you have to do is just work at it every single day and just do the best thing you can, put yourself in the best possible situations and improve and whatever, and that's it. And focus on your charisma and impressing coaches and making connections, and that's it. That's all you have control over at the end of the day. It's just every day. And you don't know. And I feel like that's almost like the beauty of it. Like, I don't know if I made the right decision. I won't know for a while. Who cares? Like, we're all going to die one day. And it's like, just go for it. You'll have time for everything else. And even for me, it's not like these deals are just going to disappear. It's not like I can't just pivot and swallow my pride and in 2 years take them up again or start doing them with other clubs. But you have to have integrity, man. You have to do something you love. You have to be someone that you respect. That's it. You just have to make sure that whatever you're doing every day, you can look in yourself in the mirror, you have respect for yourself, and you're just outrageously excited about waking up every day. And honestly, part of these deals, I would have essentially become a bit of a slave to these clubs and gotten too used to telling people to go fuck themselves. The sense of freedom that I have now, not even just for myself, but for my players, I don't think I can trade that up ever again.